Hello and a very warm welcome to Rising Stars. I'm Vikram Oza. Now, what's the future of online learning in India? Several startups, their investors alike, they've thrown their respective hats in that ring with the expectation of huge upsides. So is their optimism well placed? Let's find out from a startup called Talentedge. They've been in the business of interactive learning solutions for individuals and corporates since the year 2012 through their cloud campus solution. And importantly, they've partnered with some reputed Indian and a couple of international institutes, and this to offer the certified courses that they do. Aditya Malik is CEO and MD at Talentedge, and he's joining us in the Mumbai studio. Great to have you with us, Aditya. Welcome to Rising Stars.
Thanks, Vikram.
So you started off in 2012, and it's 2017, a 5-year run. How's it been for you in this space?
I've lost half my hair, to say the least. So, but jokes apart, it's been an exciting run. The kind of growth we have been able to see, and the timing has just been right. Has just been right with Digital India coming in, the broadband prices coming down. The love for education for Indians have always been there.
Correct.
So with all these things coming into play along with it, we feel it's been a great journey so far. And
yeah, so this is sounding very positive, but a lot changed ever since the McKinsey report that pointed out about, the reskilling that IT employees need to do in case they want to remain relevant in that industry. That changed a lot of things. So have you seen that getting reflected in your business as well? For the kind of courses that you offer, and I know that you offer a lot of different courses and they're very specialized and niche in nature. So is reskilling a big chunk of what you do, and is there a lot of concentration in the IT sector?
So yes, reskilling is what we do. Our courses are predominantly focused on working professionals, so that's the target segment any which ways. We have seen a little bit of jump from the time the IT sector has been in news and all that stuff. But if you take a step back, the reality is that in today's environment, a shelf life of a job or a skill, in my mind, is anywhere 18 to 24 months. Because if you don't reinvent whichever field you are in, 18 to 24 months, if you don't reinvent yourself, you anyway are due to lose the race.
Right.
So to that extent, I think the population of today or the employees of today anyway recognize that.
Sure.
Whether they are in IT sector or FMCG or durables, the smart ones recognize that.
Right.
So to that extent, that's fueling our demand.
Sure.
That's fueling our demand.
Right. It is fueling your demand. So to what extent? Can you put numbers to this in terms of the sectors? Because I know a lot of your students, 90% of them are self-funded. It's not companies that are paying for their employees.
Absolutely.
These people are looking at getting bigger skills, so that that's what they bring to the table, whether it's in their jobs or perhaps in entrepreneurship, which I understand is growing too for your kind of business, especially in Tier 2. So that's the other kind of demand. So when you look at servicing the Indian market, what is drawing the maximum traction for your business?
So we get almost about 100,000 applications a month. A lakh of applications a month for a higher education is huge. These kind of fraction we are seeing. Now the beauty is that about 50 to 60% of that comes from IT or IT sector, because that's where the demand is from some kind of courses. The balance 40% we see a good mix of FMCG, durables, banking, financial services, insurance kind of industry. So that's the broad specs we see across as we go.
Right, but for the business to grow, obviously the tie-ups with the institutes need to be that much stronger. You need that many more tie-ups to give the variety of courses to your students as well. That must be an uphill task, because they have their own criteria and who they want to take on board, because they have a lot of tradition. So I see a lot of IIMs and IITs as part of your entire repertoire of offerings. But this wouldn't have been an easy one to crack.
No, it's not an easy one to crack. The biggest thing working with the institute is the trust, because see, none of them are in this business for money. I mean, for them it's not a business. It's the important thing for them is to make sure the quality of education is maintained, and they partner with the right company. That's the key for them. So we have been lucky. It took us some time to get the right partnerships going. Now with the fact that the trust in last 2-3 years, the trust has grown with us, with the institutes. But yes, you're right that it takes about 6 months to 9 months to actually build a relationship and rapport to start the relationship.
Right.
Post that, good thing is that once you are in with the institute and that mutual trust is there, the journey relatively is smoother.
It may be smoother, but there's increasing competition as well, because like you, there are several others who are approaching the same universities and institutes to kind of do the partnership, because you're seeing so many edtech startups right now. But having said so, explain to us your revenue model for the kind of courses that you bring to the table. How do you charge and how do you share what you make with the institutes that you tie up with?
So we charge an individual, whether he gets paid from the company or that's his thing, we charge an individual. Our average fees is anywhere between 60 to 70,000 rupees for a 50 hours course. That's the average ticket size. While there are courses which last up to a year and have a fees of a lakh and a half, but this is the average what we charge, and these are the courses which are best sellers to that extent.
Which would be?
Which will be digital marketing, data science, business analytics, ad, PR, market research, similar courses which
so
are
these are your blockbuster courses.
These are blockbuster courses, and we collect the money from the student, and then we share a revenue with the institute.
Right.
That's how we share a revenue.
Split? How do you share?
So typically the split is 50-50.
Right.
And that's how we share, and the sourcing or the enrollment of the students, the pre-filtering of the students, figuring out which course to start with, we jointly do with the institute. The platform is ours. In fact, just to add, we have the first platform in the country which is machine learning and AI enabled,
right.
and we'll talk more about it as we go along. And then the entire student management is done by us.
Sure.
Institute comes in with the great content, great faculty, which they stand for, and the certification.
So all the teachers are of the institute. You don't need to worry about that part of it.
We don't need to worry about
you are
that.
Bringing to the table the platform on which the entire education menu is served as such for students to participate in. To understand the business model, as it were, 100 crores right now is what you have by way of funding. The kind of spends would be huge. The tech piece would be the biggest piece, I would imagine.
Yes.
But explain to us how you've kind of used the 100 crores that you've got with you.
So the first thing has been technology. So technology is the foundation, so to say, because our thought is to make sure that the students get the real classroom experience. I'm not competing with the online class. That's not my competition. My competition is not Coursera or Khan Academy. My competition is the physical classroom where the institute is running in the campus. So we have to make sure that the student gets the experience which he gets in a physical classroom. So the entire investment in technology has gone in making sure that happens. So let me give some examples. So we have social learning baked in, which means that students can actually do a video conferencing with each other offline in groups and actually solve case studies together.
Okay.
We have chatbots answering the queries and helping them resolve issues. We have AI algorithms helping student in figuring out that this page, this topic is critical, spend time like this. If we see student spending more time on one particular page, the activity or mail is triggered to him.
Sure.
Recently we have launched something which we called sentiment analysis. So actually we can track the mood of the class and actually publish how's the class going. So like in a real-time class, the faculty can see the body language.
These are aids to better education, to kind of recreate the classroom atmosphere.
Absolutely.
But at the end of the day, like you said, you're competing with a student actually going physically to one of these institutes and getting themselves a short education, which would be around, what, a 4 or 5 day specialized course, a niche course.
Yeah.
But understanding the business also is crucial over here because, like I said, there's competition that is growing. Where is your USP right now? Because there are others who are trying to exactly imitate the kind of business that you've got going. Is there a first mover advantage over here? You may not be the first mover, but I'm saying that a head start over the other startups right now, does that kind of hold you in good stead because of the kind of partnerships that you've got going?
Sure. I think in my view there are a couple of things which we have, which we feel gives us a head start. The first and foremost is our sales and marketing ability. The fact that we are able to generate 100,000 applications a month, which by far in this segment is highest in the country.
But that would also involve a huge marketing spend.
That involves a huge marketing spend. That's the first one. The second one is the fact that the technology, we are continuously making sure technology remains ahead of the curve and the student experience is not compromised and he gets the best experience. That's the second one. The third one for us is the pedagogy. The way we have been able to, working with the institutes, figure out the stuff, what works in live interactive learning and what doesn't. It takes time to figure that out. After what duration you get a poll going, after what duration you get a case study going, etc., etc. That has come over a period of time. And last but not the least, the fact that, to me, that's the cherry on the cake and the real cake as well. The fact that our students has given us a resounding vote of confidence. I'll take a small 10-second thing and share that with you. After 3 months of completion of the course, we do a specific survey with the students, where our market research agency calls them and asks them only 3 questions. First one is, has this course benefited you to do your job better? Do you feel more empowered to do your job better than your peers, and would you recommend a similar course to anybody else? Today my score is running at 82%.
That's fantastic, and that's an internal kind of research that you're doing.
Yes.
So obviously we don't want to get so much into that, Aditya,
Sure.
but at the same time I'm just going to maintain my line that the competition is huge in this space. To kind of keep an upper edge on this, considering that you would come in, establish the entire business model, which becomes very easy for others to emulate. So how do you scale from here? How do you ensure that volume-driven business is something that you're doing, and a lot more students come into the fray to kind of get the kind of education that you're in the business of?
So 2 or 3 things. One, while the market is big enough. That's the first thing. Market is big enough for many players. So that's the first answer which I would have to your question. Second one is the fact that the reality is that we are well ahead in terms of, you answered it some time back, the fact that partnerships which takes time to crack with the institute. I feel that we have a head start of 12 to 18 months.
Average?
About 6 to 9 months. So
Right.
we feel we have a head start of 12 to 18 months with many partnerships.
Okay.
Last but not the least, I think the credibility we have established in the market working with many players as of now, we are seeing a lot more pull coming from the institute. A lot more people call us and say, hey, we know you work with them, and the faculty also move from one institute to another. So then they call us and say, hey, we know you worked with that institute, you did a great job, why don't you come in and do that?
Right.
So I feel we have a 12 to 18 months there.
And how are you tapping into the tier 2 market, because that's a huge one too?
So tier 2 market, we are seeing, as I shared with you, courses like entrepreneurship are seeing a huge traction, because with all the focus on entrepreneurship, people wanting to do stuff on their own, we are seeing a huge
So there
traction.
are some general courses that are bringing in students too?
Students too, yeah.
Right, okay. So the general management courses, the entrepreneurship courses, they go hand in hand with the specialized courses that you have on offer.
Absolutely.
And that seems to be the model. But obviously there'll be international institute partnerships as well that you'd be going after.
Yes.
And expanding the business is going to be key right now. So good luck on this journey. It seems to be a fascinating one.
Thank you.
And as far as fundraising is concerned, I'm sure you're sorted for the moment. Are you going to be looking for more soon?
So no, we don't need more funds soon, and on the other hand, we are looking for more acquisitions. We should be announcing a couple of deals very soon where we are looking at taking some stake in some companies. Parallelly, we are in talks with a couple of more people. The idea is to grow inorganically as well as we do grow inorganically. So we are out in the market for acquisition rather than raising funds as of now.
Oh, fantastic. That sounds so much more promising. We wish you great luck on this journey.
Thank you, Vikram.
Thank you again for coming by.
Thank you,
Rising
Vikram.
Stars.
Pleasure speaking to you.
And that's our guest on Rising Stars. There'll be plenty more in the future. But for the moment, I'm Vikram Oza from me and the team. Bye-bye.